Alright, I've got what I call my traffic light system. And this is both for me to provide feedback, but also to help you plan. And you'll notice it starts off with red. These are your basic terms for questions in the Board of Studies key terms. So you'll notice identify, name, and list are in that area. Usually you can only get 1 to 2 marks out of this. So straight away you should understand that. When we go down to the orange, you start getting outline and describe. And now we're sort of going 2 to 4, possibly even 5 marks sometimes. But however, you'll notice that the green also has describe. So sometimes you've got to actually look at the amount of marks allocated to the term. Now I'm not going to read all these out because I'm going to give you this on Edmodo, but I'm just explaining it for you. We then get up to green and it's got explain and compare. And we're now starting to get into longer answers. So relate cause and effect, show how things are similar and different in a compare. And when you get to the blue point, now we're really talking about a complex answer. So assess, discuss, evaluate, analyse, all of those things appear there. Yep?
What do we have to do for an analyse question?
Well, we'll get to those ones. I just noticed, yeah, it's missing there, but I'll make sure it goes in. So to give you an example, here's a red-based concept. We have a 1 to 2 mark question, often 1 mark per item. Here's the example, name 2 design principles. So it's pretty simple, could include 2 of the following: balance, rhythm, emphasis, direction. That's year 11 stuff, by the way. You should sort of know this. Fingers crossed, I'm looking for glazed eyes. Yes, you do. Excellent. We're going to this orange one. Now this is important that you notice my use of red and orange. We have the example of define the design element colour. Now, defining colour, you might say red. Colour is a colour like red. That's identifying colour, but it's not really defining it. The definition is this orange part. Describe the most important design principle used in designing a bicycle. For maybe 1 to 2 marks, depending how many marks are being allocated, you might identify parts of the question, or part of the answer, I should say. But to get full marks, you need that orange section there. I'm really concerned you're not listening at this point. Can you please get some equipment out and a pen? So, the most important design principle used in designing a bicycle is symmetrical balance. So, let's assume it's a 2-mark question. For 1 mark, symmetrical balance, I'll get the 1 mark. For the 2 marks, I need to actually describe the most important design principle for a bicycle, so describing why that's important is in there. What makes it important? We'll get up to the green. They require answers that link detailed points to features of all parts of the question. So explain how shape affects the functional success of a mobile phone. So you can see I've highlighted the main points. We're talking about shape, we're talking about mobile phones, that relationship between those 2 things. So planning a response, we need to identify those main elements. And we look at shape characteristics. If you bring out these points, that might get you 1 to 2 marks out of the 9. Because you've identified relevant characteristics of shape. If you Give a bit of a description. See how it's going back down the line a bit in the orange area. Fit, hand grip, large enough to hold, store in a pocket. Those sorts of characteristics are described in a bit more detail. However, to explain the relationship, you need to go shape to a hand, gripping easily, access number keys with thumb and finger. So we're starting to really talk about the details in that. So what I'm trying to show you here is, firstly, how you'll get your marks, but also how to probably structure an answer. You can see that this is going to be sentences based on that topic, or they could be paragraphs, where we're mentioning the type of shape, the size of the shape, the geometric or organic nature of the shape. And then you expand it out with more detail. These get a little harder. When you're hitting that blue territory, evaluate the success of the design features of the opera house. Now, this could also quite justifiably be in a Year 12 exam. Now, because it's Year 11, we're focusing on these design principles and elements. You could still use that, but if you're going to evaluate the success of the design features of the opera house, what sort of things would you talk about?
Aesthetics.
Yep, so aesthetics, which would then have to break down into those components, but you're right. What else? What was on? Function? Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Function of the opera house is really important. So you got those parts, but if we break them into more, what's some of the design aspects that is unusual for the opera house? What makes it successful or unsuccessful?
Sales.
Sorry, what was the
Sales.
The sails shape? Yep. Why is that?
Because it's unique.
Okay, yep. It's a unique design. Excellent. What else?
The location.
Absolutely, yeah. All of these things are contributing. However, to actually get the marks, notice how much more detail it gets to. So quite often students go, oh, okay, space used to provide, so we'll talk about the function, public access to harbour as well as the function provision of theatres. That's a pretty limited response. Public space, hold multiple performance spaces, emphasis placed on the shell cells through proportional size difference, so I'm using space as the concept. Then you get to an extended answer. Now, if you were planning this, I wouldn't say write this. There'd be no point. That's actually writing the answer when you get up to this point. But if you start getting your main points and how you're going to back it up, there's a quick planning exercise, and you can do it however you feel is comfortable. I like seeing it sort of linear and in the columns myself. It'll lead to you writing this part. So, here's an example of a student's response to that question. It's an actual student's response. And you'll see how I identified the marks. So remember, red, it's about 1 to 2. Orange, you're getting up to maybe 3, 4 marks. Obviously, you have to do enough of those to get them. So we've got shape, size, colour. Then we do get some description in the orange areas. They expand a little bit with the green, but you'll notice they only evaluate at that point. Remember the question said evaluate, and that's make a judgment. So I couldn't go up into the 8 to 9 marks because it was missing that final piece. It's all they were missing. If they had somehow put an evaluation against all those green sections, there's probably 9 marks straight away.
So what
It got 7 because I can't. If you look at the marking criteria, there's no judgment. It's an evaluation. You need to evaluate. You need to make a judgment. You need to say it is successful or unsuccessful.
Oh, he didn't do that.
No.
Oh, okay.
Or they did, but there it is, right at the bottom. That's not enough. Do you see what I mean? Because it's almost like an introductory statement without saying why specifically to each section. So this is a nice way of sort of laying out in your head how to structure your answers. So you first identify your point, describe the features around it, but then make all those links. Here's an HSC question. You're going to plan your answer. Together. Contribute to the success of these products. So, innovative products. Remember, we've been talking about innovation and all the innovative products. So there's growing consumer demand for innovative products that enhance the quality of life. Explain a range of factors that contribute to the success of these products. So, what's some of the factors we've been talking about in the last 2 lessons?
The need.
The need, yep, that can be one, absolutely. It's testing your memory about the content now, isn't it? Come on, you can join together, help each other. You can look back on notes, I don't care. Yes, marketing can have effects.
Finance.
What's that one?
Finance.
Yes, whether they're financed, yep. Whether they've got enough money to actually produce them.
Consumer
Demand, yep. Or what's another area when we're talking about the consumer demand? What fluctuates? What do we call those? What was that one? No, we had the need, but it's another thing that occurs. Remember how I said some products aren't actually satisfying a need? Yeah, you're getting there. Yeah, you're sort of getting there. When you said season, that was great for all the fashion designers. Yeah. What do we? Oh, you're talking around it so well. Starts with T. No, the next letter is R. Thank you. Trends. Remember that the innovation can create a trend, or it can be the results of trends and utilise trends. So we've just come up with about 4 or 5 points for a 5-mark question. So factors is in plural, so we need 2 at least. So take 2 of them. We'll go function and need, because that's function and, we'll go need, and what else? Take trends. Okay, so we've got the need and we've got trends. Now we have to explain how they contribute to the success. So success is a key point here. So when you talked about need and trends, there's your red 1 mark by mentioning those 2 out of the 5. If you just wrote trends, needs, there's 1 mark out of 5 straight away. What about those things? Explain them. What are they? How are they impacting on success of an innovation?
I was just going to say how it makes sense.
Yeah, that's what you have to answer. What is it? What are the qualities of a trend that affects the success of these products? Yeah. So the need actually has to suit an actual need that's there. Yeah. What if it's a similar product though? Because when we're talking about innovations, usually it's not just an invention. It could be something that's actually changed slightly, become more efficient or whatever it is. So what's it doing there in terms of need?
Making the product more efficient.
Well, it is efficient, so you've got to talk more about the need aspect. Well, you're trying to talk about the factors, right? So we've got the factor of a need. So the needs are out there. what makes that contribute to the success. Now, when we say that, what are the features of that factor? So, yes, there's a need out there. You absolutely have to have a need out there for it to be successful because people will want it. It's going to solve a problem for them. Yes. Yeah, so it fulfills that. But what if there's other products out there that suit the same need? How's this innovation?
You can derive tissues from it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually far more effective or efficient. You're talking about it in satisfying the need. So you've got to link it back. And this is probably the key point in trying to link these concepts. So what I'm going to ask you to do as an exercise is answer this question and put it on Edmodo. Because what I will do is I will mark it, as you saw, out of the 5 with the highlights. By the way, this would only go up to the green level, as you saw earlier. So if I pop back for a moment, I'll let you get this down, just one moment. You can see it's in the explain territory. You'll notice up here, 3 to 9 marks, and it's sitting in that 5-mark range. Oh, I'll pop back to it, but I was just pointing that out. So you can see it doesn't require a whole lot. In fact, one of the key things you should understand with the Board of Studies HSC exams is this. I'll pop back to it. Oh no, it's the wrong one. You should be able to answer the question in that space. That's how many lines maximum they think you need to answer that question. So I'll leave that up there for you.
You would like that.
Sure. It's not letting me zoom.
He said it's like some. And I'm just saying,
Why do you smack each other?